Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? First off, excuse the mess going on here in the background. But let me go ahead and do these sunglasses here. I don't really like looking at myself when I do these videos. I mean, I like looking at myself, but it just, anyway, I'd rather do them in sunglasses. Anyways, I want to tell you guys two things that happened today. And this is not the first time that these type of things have happened. So what I'm sharing to you, because so you don't put me at risk, so you don't put other people at risk, you don't put our processes and our procedure at risk, that you take responsibility for your own actions. There's a video, I'll put the link in the subscription here, in the video subscription here in the bottom or whatever, and I'll also put the time so you can go check it for yourself, where once again, I think some brother has found maybe himself in some type of situation because he was doing the acquisition on an abandoned property. Something between him and Brother Polite, I really don't know the details of it. I had nothing to do with it. The only thing I don't like about the fact is he's somewhere allegedly, and I'm not even saying that the brother did this, because it could also be one of these attorneys who have misrepresented what somebody said or something like that. But the point is, they're using the name Tex Masson and said that the brother admitted to getting the advice from me. Well, first off, excuse me, I don't mean me, I mean Tex Masson, because that's another point. It sounds stupid, right? It sounds ignorant, because anyone who deals with me, whether on a channel or even in person, they know that I'm not the one to give advice, and I don't even come off as if I'm out here instructing or giving somebody advice how to do something. I'm just a researcher, and everybody knows that. So when I see that, I see this is either incompetent person, or this could be an attempt, a subtle attempt to build, a false perception, to sabotage, right? This same article makes references to sovereign citizens and Moors and things like that. I proclaim my nationality as a Moor. I'm not a self-proclaimed national, irregardless of maybe something that could have been misconstrued or misunderstood in something I said in a video 4 years ago or even 4 minutes ago. Irregardless, I'm growing every day, I'm learning every day, and I'm not limited to being coined or termed as some sovereign citizen or some other type of thing to try to quantify or put somebody under some type of term that you defined under certain conditions so you can eradicate this person, commit genocide, or try to suppress light and information or something like that. Anyways, but the point that I wanted to make is whether the brother did do it or not, I don't really know, because I've never spoken to the brother. I don't even know the brother. Whether he just made the donation to our organization and took the guide off the website, which the guide, pretty much everybody knows what's in the guide because it's right on the face of it. It's just more in detail. It talks about the process of foreclosing on an abandoned property, let me say my terms correctly, right? Because you see how people try to attach you into things. But first, as always, this ain't legal advice and all that. I'm not even going to burden myself with trying to come with some type of representation of what is, and isn't legal advice. This is just, us talking, whatever. Point, aside from all the nonsense, the point is this. Make your own determinations. Be the executor, the administrator for your estate. You can't shift the blame on no one. Hopefully you've built the type of relationships that if you should find yourself in some type of situation or trouble, that someone has some advocacy and has your back. That's a big problem. A lot of people are vultures for information, but they don't really give back. I'm thankful for the people that do really give back in the ways that they do give back. They don't just consume, because it's a real bad situation where people just, take, and then you need their help, and they just kind of just are not there to help you. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm just kind of going all off the subject now, but the best way you can really help somebody, and this is my opinion, this is the best way that somebody can really help me. And I'm not even putting this obligation on you. I'm just kind of sharing this with you because this is the way I look at things. And if I want to help somebody, I'd be like, how can I best help this person? A lot of times, it's not about just saying, hey, what can I do to help you? Let me know. If you need anything, I'm here. Nah, a lot of times, you should identify something that person needs to help them, and then you just go ahead and do that. Sometimes because that person can't identify what it is that they need, or maybe for different reasons, you know, they already have a plan for it and you already know that you can execute something even better. Just offer the assistance to that person. That's what I'm actually trying to do overall. So I know some people don't see the big picture, but you know, I've been doing the THC Trust, you know, serving as the trustee for what, 4 years now, maybe longer. So I am building towards something. You guys will see that. You see the information is getting more solid. But anyways, I'm not going to ramble on. I'm gonna introduce the next video here. But what I wanna say most importantly is I am a research. THCtrust.org is a research organization. That's all we are. So if you are construing, whether you're an attorney or an individual person, whatever you want to call yourself, natural person, man, woman, if you think that I give legal advice and I tell you what you should be doing, the only thing I talk about is things that I've done for myself or things that I've personally researched, things that I'm doing. I may give you my opinion, how I feel about it, my position, but I'm not no authority on anything, right? And if I should find myself in any type of situation based off of something that I read that some other person talked about, I'm not going to be like, well, you know, I got that from so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? That is shame upon yourself. You should feel very weak. You know, you shouldn't know. And this is why sometimes, you know, people don't like my response to them. Because when I gauge that somebody is looking for me to be their authority or to tell them what they should do and how they perform, that is not an obligation that I want. And you're not going to satisfy that requirement by just saying, oh, I know that you don't give legal advice. No, man, it's in your natural being. What I am trying to express to you is that you have to take ultimate responsibility for your actions. And it's in the process, in the mental process of taking responsibility, not being scared to fail, just being willing to step out there and take responsibility for your estate, make the judgment calls, use the limited information that you have the best way that you can so it can grow. Doing that on your own accord and then seeking out others for counsel, you know, looking to others to enhance what you know, not to, you know, correct your problem for you. And that is ultimately where you are in a mental state if when you find yourself in adversity, you try to bail out and put it on me or somebody else or push the blame, right? Instead of dealing with the situation. And, you know, you could have reached out to me for some assistance. And again, I have to say, I'm not saying this, brother, because I don't even know if the brother did that. I'm just saying how it came across. I'll put the link in there. But I'm making an issue of this because this is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. It's actually the fourth time. And it's about, you know, just different things sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always conscious and aware if somebody can't outthink you, like on this big grand chessboard matrix, then they'll try to create some type of plot to sabotage you, right? So that's why even with all this information that I have, everybody's asking, did you get to the money? Are you trying to do this and are you trying to do that? And what they don't understand is that is not my focus or endeavor. I have no doubt, question in my mind, will we get to the money and will we do all this? Because those questions have been answered based off of my research and knowledge. But what I am more focused on is being meticulous, making sure that we're leaving no stone unturned and that we are building something, that we are building something solid that we can stand on. Because one thing I'm noticing, one thing that I'm learning, at least I feel, that is beginning to look like we're the most competent people in the room in a lot of cases. And I'm talking about it wasn't like this when we started our research. There's a lot of things that we didn't know. And I mean we, meaning myself and yourself also. This is why I'm trying to encourage people to be more confident in what they know and build on what little bit they know, because normally that little bit that you know is way more than everybody else in the room. So you just have to keep building on that and keep building on that. And you can't do that without being a leader, whether you're a natural leader or not. And I'm talking about a leader for yourself and your own endeavors in your estate. Stop asking other people, what should I do? You know, a more better question, and it's not just in the question, it's in the act and the intention, is, hey, this is what I'm going to do. What do you think about this? Because based off of what I'm finding, this is the path right here, right? What do you think? Then somebody can be like, you know, I like that, but what if they come at you for this angle? Did you cover this? And then that person is like, yeah, I want to cover that, because you're guiding that ship. You're not just sitting back saying, how are you going to get to your money in your estate when you don't even want to deal with your problems? You understand what I'm saying? So now, anyways, that being said, that's a perfect precursor, because another thing that occurred, something else that's occurring, and I definitely don't want it to occur. Um, Sorry, give me a second. I definitely don't want it to occur with this template that I'm putting in this exclusive email, by the way. This is going to be, I think I'm going to make this just an exclusive email. You know, maybe I won't even post this one on YouTube. But I'm putting a template in here. The template is based on the research. The research is based on the next video in here, so I'm not going to go overkill it. But what I do want you to understand, I'm looking at this template on screen here, is that you should not take this template and use it exactly as it is. Although this might be the most powerful FOIA / Paperwork Reduction Act multi-government response required request for information that you've ever seen and that I've ever seen, because I actually, as I always do, I created it based off of something I'm doing for myself. But this is where you have to exercise some deep knowledge and intellect. What's it going to look like if the hundreds of people that watched this video and the 10% of them that had this mortgage problem took this exact same letter and didn't change nothing but their name? You know, let me put it like this. I wouldn't have a problem with you doing that if this letter was perfect. You understand what I'm saying? You're not looking at it on the screen, so excuse me, I'm looking at it on the screen. But it's not perfect. It's a template, and I shouldn't have to spend any 10 more hours perfecting it, because it's such a state that you can do wonders with it, and you should do wonders with it yourself. But when you take this and you just start cutting and pasting and plugging it in there, and you don't really modify it and make it personal, what happens is when you try to use this in your lawsuit, they come back and say, yeah, he got this lunatic nonsense crazy shit from thctrust.org. Yes, they say that. I've seen it. They don't say it like that, of course, but they say that. And then, so you're prejudicing yourself, you're prejudicing our organization, you're prejudicing the members of the trust, because this is a research tool. If it's gonna go out, it's gotta go out in its final phase, perfected and beautiful. And it definitely don't need to go out looking like it came from us if it wasn't supposed to go out in that phase and you didn't perfect it and make it beautiful. You know, so I'm just saying, and it's not, it's not beaten up. I know we have learning curves and phases and things like that, and these are the things that I'm sitting back trying to correct these problems. And I have to find a way to become more organized, and that's going to be through the need of some volunteers. Even as I'm thinking of it right now, I had to jot out different positions that I need people to volunteer for in the organization. And because of the things that have just occurred that I'm speaking about right now, more than one occasion where somebody uses a template that's not even for something to be used in court, uses it in court, and where it can easily be Googled and say, wow, he got this, and then misrepresented. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop putting up information because of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let my character demonstrate these videos that you should be downloading. So if anybody ever tries to come at me sideways, I'm going to let my character demonstrate, who I am as a person and all this type of stuff, my intention, and that I don't give legal advice. So I'm not going to stop giving information, but I'm just going to have to start lecturing the people now. Like, come on, do your own due diligence. Don't be in a rush for anything. Yeah, you got to meet timelines, but don't be in a rush. Do like I do. It's Saturday right now. It's Saturday at 6:25 p.m. I'm out here in the house researching, hot, up here in the valley. I didn't go anywhere today. I'm not saying that you should do like that, but there's a lot of work to be done. I'm not going to just rush because I want to spend my free time doing everything else. The information is that important for me. I know it's going to pay off in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be in such a rush that you put us at risk, because we're all an organization. The more that I do what I'm doing and the more feedback that I'm getting from you guys, great feedback too, I must add, I can realize more and more how we really are connected. And there is, to some degree, there is a responsibility that I have for you. Don't get it twisted. That's not for you to impose what that responsibility is for me. That is for me to know. However, but what I am saying is, I take that responsibility serious, and I'm asking you to take the responsibility of how you receive information and what you do with it. I ask you to take that seriously too. So the thing is about this, that letter that I just drafted up is real deal serious. You'll really understand that when you put it together with the video that also goes with it. So I am saying, as with this letter and everything else, You know, not everything else. I will tell you one thing. I'm going to admit one thing right here. I copied a document straight up verbatim. I only added one line to it. And there's always an exception to the rule. And the exception to the rule is if I would have delivered this document in bulletproof perfect format, then yes, copy as it will because there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm looking at the document right now and I know that there's errors in it. You see what I'm saying? Just because it's, you know, I'm not trying to teach you to be a perfectionist, although I may be one for myself. I'm just trying to disseminate information for you, and it'll do me a disservice of what I'm trying to convey to you if I made the document perfect and gave it to you. You can see a couple of my perfect documents. And, you know, for example, the discharge that I just did on the mortgage. I say perfect in the sense that it represents the best of my research on the subject, and it was thoroughly researched when I did it. It was the first discharge presentment that I did where there was really no questions across the board as to what I did, what was supposed to happen, and all of those different things. You know, that's a real good feeling because you can stand on 100% of what you've done. So that's a perfected document that you can see because it's recorded and it's after the fact in the UCC. This is not perfected. It means that when you send it out, it shouldn't even look like this, man. You don't have to use the same font that I use. I'm not mad if you do, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, if it's going to look like it came from our organization, yo, it's got to make sense, bro. If you run it by, and that's why I was saying I would like an editor. I would really like an editor. Somebody reached out to me about that before, and I was very interested, but I didn't have the opportunity to test your skills. And it ain't like no strenuous test. You were doing a great job, as a matter of fact. But others, professionals, whatever, I do need an editor, and I want that editor to run a team. And what I'm talking about, I want that editor to be able to kind of edit documents and store good documents. For example, if a member of the organization writes a FOIA request, sends it to the editor's like, yo, this is a banging FOIA request. We need this as a template. Editor goes through it, makes it look nice and sweet and professional. So then, it can go back out and we can add it to our archive for the members of the organization. Things like that is what I want to do. I want to have I'm just speaking this stuff out because these are things, there's no better way to do it, I guess, than to say it. I was just telling one of my friends today how I have to really admire him because he does similar to what I do, but he's been able to really direct the organization, put people in place that have agreed and willingly volunteered their time and didn't just always ask for guidance, took on their role and manifested something with it. And they were not too much about ego to take direction, even though they had built something. I'm looking for those kind of people to help me build this organization.